Hello guys, welcome back to New Who HQ. Today I'm going to dive into how nostalgia has damaged certain parts of Doctor Who. And I'll be speaking about a variety of topics in today's video. But before we start, if you're new to the channel and you'd like to subscribe, that would help me out massively. I also have a channel memberships page which you can now join called the Timey Wimey Gang. I'd like to give a massive thank you to Megan and Paul, who are my current members. And if you want to join the gang for exclusive perks, feel free to, link is in the description. Now, what I mean by has nostalgia damaged Doctor Who, I'm basically saying bringing back a lot of things which fans love, a lot of classic, iconic parts of the show in the past, bringing them to use them in today's stories. And I have a few issues with that. When Disney started giving Doctor Who money, and it was branded a brand new era, we were starting again from season 1. I think a lot of us were expecting a massive reboot, something fresh and brand new. And yes, we've not had the Daleks, we've not had the Cybermen reappear. And actually I think that would have been better than what they've decided to do. Doctor Who has not really been rebooted in terms of what they've brought back. The likes of Sutekh, Omega, Lorani. Now these villains are iconic, I'm not going to doubt that. But the Daleks and the Cybermen have a certain image to Doctor Who, which a lot of people know them from Doctor Who. They're the face of the show when you think of the villains. When you look at the likes of Lorani, Omega and Sutekh, even Susan, very iconic, but only a certain audience will like, appreciate and understand who these villains are. If you're a new viewer who's joined on Disney Plus to watch Doctor Who, you're going to have no idea about the significance of these villains that are coming back. And of course, you know, Sutekh, we understood he is the god of death. That's quite self-explanatory. You don't need masses of history to know who Sutekh is. But if we can compare it to like Billie Piper coming back at the end of the reality war after Ncuti regenerates, we are sort of going towards them big shock moments of, look, it's this face and let's create a big thing from that, instead of it making any sense or getting creative about bringing in something brand new. Yes, Billie Piper's face showing up, majority of Doctor Who fans that have been around for a while are gonna know who that is and are gonna be pretty happy or interested, intrigued at least. But as Disney were aiming this towards a newer audience with all the money they put in with resetting it to season 1, you would not, all of these audiences are going to look at Billie Piper, are going to look at Omega, Lorani, Sutekh, Susan and think, what does any of this actually mean? And if you don't really understand and you're not provided the context, it's been pointed out a few times now that Disney should have brought the backlog of catalogue of Doctor Who, so maybe only New Who, they didn't need Classic, just to provide a little bit of context. People haven't got these things. That means the way the show was marketed was done wrong. It's great to have the nostalgia, but at this time when you're trying to attract new audiences and put big emphasis on them big moments of, you know, when the big name of Sutekh was revealed, when Omega was revealed, the Rani, a lot of people aren't going to know about that because the Rani, for example, is quite niche to Classic Who, and maybe even some Classic Who fans might not really remember who the Rani is or don't really feel like she's that important to just have her name said and everyone's like, oh yes, I remember, she's this, she's that. So Doctor Who being nostalgic in that sense, I think, was not done very well. Billie Piper coming back is obviously very controversial and I'm a fan of it. I'm excited to see what she does. But for nostalgic sake, I will admit, and I've heard this from a few other YouTubers, this does look a bit like desperation. It's how close this has all happened. The fact that we had David Tennant only a couple of years ago bringing back someone from RTD1. We have now had Billie Piper coming back from RTD1 only a couple of years later. The bi-generation and now having Ncuti regenerate into Billie Piper is great for die-hard fans who enjoy this type of thing, but also new audiences are going to be very, very confused and they won't understand the significance of it. And that's not the audience's fault at all. It's the way it was done. You should simplify, break it down, give us more context as to what this person is doing, this and that. And from the Disney's perspective, where a lot of their audiences wouldn't have seen Doctor Who before, they're not going to be that bothered by that ending. So I worry that this stunt that was pulled by Russell T Davies was not the best to do. And let's speak about Russell T Davies. Of course, he brought back Murray Gold, he brought back David Tennant and Donna for only, yes, 3 episodes, but still, this was the beginning of the Disney era. This was supposed to be brand new, and instead we brought back people from nearly 20 years ago, and that's great for someone like me and a lot of fans. But if Disney are going to invest to create a new era of the show, you're literally, the Jodie Whittaker era felt more like a reboot than this era did. And of course, Jodie Whittaker's era, you can argue it wasn't very good, but it was original and it stands alone, and it stands out more to me as an era which is more appealing to new audiences than Ncuti. And RTD is a massive fan of the show. He's been on the show before. Of course, he's going to bring back certain elements. That was kind of obvious, but now I'm thinking he needs to leave Doctor Who and let someone else take over, because some people are starting to get a little bit sick of it, and I'm not far off from being sick of it. How he does his finales, yet again, has been repeated. This man is repeating his finales. So it's not just the new audiences that are getting a little bit miffed about not knowing what anything is that's being revealed massively and has a real big significance, and the stakes are really, really high, but they don't actually know who this person is. You've also got your normal die-hard Doctor Who fans are going, it's repeat, repeat, repeat. Let's bring back a classic Who villain, let's destroy them in 5 minutes, or destroy them stupidly. Ncuti Gatwa's era does not obviously feel nostalgic for the whole way through. There are obviously new elements, but to bring back key nostalgic elements which they've done is harming the show in growing, and makes no sense for Disney jumping on and branding this a reboot, a brand new era, because it simply doesn't really feel like it is. I just don't feel like the show is moving forward, and it's great to get callbacks, it's great to do little things like this, but Billie Piper was simply just to stick in. You could tell her face was edited over, it was all very, very quickly done, and it was kind of just there to keep audiences second guessing. And we're not really focusing on the narrative, we're not focusing on the story anymore, we're more focusing on these big twists, these big surprises which either make no sense, cause a lot of controversy, and just make people switch off. Yes, if Billie Piper takes over the role for the Doctor for a little bit, or is the main role in whatever she is, that will boost viewing figures substantially for a time. The novelty will wear off at some point, and it did with David Tennant as well. So instead of trying to claim that the things that used to work for nostalgia's sake, what I've come to terms with is the only way this show is going to move forward is if Russell T Davies is not in charge of it. And I have a lot of love and respect for that man and what he's done for the show, and some of the stuff he's written is beautiful. But now everything comes to an end, and Russell T Davies, I feel like his time on the show is, in my eyes, done. I've had enough. I'm ready for someone new. And you can still bring back old people. That's absolutely fine. This is a show with decades of history. You can't just ignore it, but you do it a bit better than how it's been done by Russell T Davies. And also saving these, bringing the Doctors back, bringing these big people back is why the decade, the 60th specials, the 50th specials, 40th, 70th are all very, very special and big celebrated times in the fandom, because this is when this type of thing happens, not during a series. So Doctor Who feeling nostalgic, what do you feel about that? Has it damaged the show? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. If you're new to the channel, you like to subscribe and give this video a like, and I'll see you all very, very soon.